Hey y'all, welcome back to Spirit of the Outdoors. An impromptu, just decided to go live. I'm going to work on shaping this handle on this little Caleb knife. So I'm going to go to work while some people get online. Hey there, Big Heck. We just decided to get on here while I was fixing to work on this for a little bit and do a live. We hadn't filmed in the last couple of days and thought it would be nice to just get some content for y'all. Make sure y'all knew I hadn't fell off the edge of the earth somewhere. Yeah, it's warm in here. It is, what does this thermometer say? It's up in the fish hooks. It's 90 in here. 90 degrees in here. I'm working on a Caleb knife that sold via the Etsy store. And I was really supposed to ship it today, but I've got two different rasps. They are two different grits. This one has a real rough meat hog, and then this one's got some finer. I use it when I get down to close to where I want. That way when I go to sand, I'll really do the final sanding on the belt sander. So I like to clamp that handle solid in the vise. I know, and I have got a blade vise you stick the blade up in, that I like this more solid this way. And I hand shape all handles. Every one of them is done just like this. I got a half moon shaped. And that'll clean up that metal on there. This one, these are all heat treated, so you can tell by the sound of that file when I get up in there that it's hitting hard metal. This back out through this handle ain't hard. I don't never dip the whole handle. Pretty close. Pretty close. I need to change. I got too fine of a belt on here. And I have found out I do not like these Hermes belts, however you say that. Hermes. Look how they just twist. Oh, I can't deal with that. Some folks it don't bother, but these Senko belts, look, that's an old belt. It's been damp, moist right here, loose. You don't wad all up. So what I am doing is the back profile right up this edge. I want to make sure I have that perfect while this scale is still flat. That's it. Hang on a little bit more right here. So now I have that up against the wood. There ain't no gap between my wood and my metal nowhere. It's all down to where it's solid. So back in here we go, and this is the way I like to do this. So I know I am probably missing comments. Nicktoons, you just have to either email me or probably the best thing is message me on my Facebook page. I am slow getting to them right now. B-Heck, I am wanting to go fishing so bad that I can't. I just went a little bit ago and ran my bait traps. I go check them pretty regular. I hadn't had to put fresh bait in them in a while. I did add fresh bait a while ago because more than likely I'm fixing to go back to Tom Bigby because right now the only thing you can do is either catfish. I could pond fish, but the swamp, it got down and got perfect for 2 days, and that was it. And I had a wedding both days. So, there was some folks the other day caught a bunch of fish down here in the swamp, but it's steadily raining. It's back up to like 12.5 foot, so fishing down there for me is out for a little bit. I don't ever remember a summer that was this wet. And Tunes, you was talking about ordering a knife. Now, I have a few of these knives. I don't even know if there's any left now. On the Etsy store, I may have to go on there and resupply them because I wouldn't put but like 5 or 6 at a time. And as people bought them, I am just, this one, I was trying to keep them built ahead of time because these are not hard to make. They're just a little time consuming, but I can do the heat treat. Oh, dirt dauber. In the oven and the kiln and all, and I did all the heat treat last night. It was like, I don't know, it was after dark. I come through here and run everything through the forge and did a heat treat, but I have not filmed a lot. We worked on the Goldfish pond for the last all day yesterday. And we've got it in the ground. I got fish in it. I could walk you up there here in a little bit and look at it. It looks all right. We've got 2 plants my mom brought up here that we've got to dig through the plastic and put them down. And then when I get some gas in the buggy, we down to 1 light. And I got to go to town to get gas. So I just, foregoing the trip to town, I really need to take this knife and ship it when I go. So probably be late this evening when I go. But I need to fill the buggy up with gas, and then we're gonna ride down in the woods, around the duck pond, different places, and find some water lilies and such as that to put around it. Y'all, it is very humid. As long as you're not heading to the swamp down here with us, because it is from hill to hill. Everything is underwater. Catfish would be the only thing that you could get to bite down there, most likely. I'm wanting to griddle fish so bad. I mean, I am really wanting to griddle fish, and I can't because the water is everywhere. And I don't have a good place to go when the water is up like this. I need to try to secure me some places that when the water is all out of whack like this, that I still got, without having to drive an hour and a half. Now I could go to Tom Bigby and fish most anything, do catfishing, and would love to, but it's just a long ride up there, and we still gathering up, cleaning up. I have still got a load of chairs over here that I have got to go get loaded up and take back to the church from the wedding this past week. Always something. Try to get y'all up here where you can see the. Instead of looking at my ugly gourd, you can tell when that runs over that brass pin, can't you? Now, we'll go about it this way. I was trying to stay out of the camera, but I have to do this the natural way I'm used to doing it. Because I'm left-handed. When I get down close, I like to get this file because it don't take as much meat off of the wood. Then I take an old piece of a wore out belt. Get all my little pieces of belt. See how I ripped them up in little. That's so I can do that finger guard. Uh-oh. There is a nick in that blade. Right in there. Didn't show up good till I started sanding. Tell you what. Now let's see what we got. When you start putting a shine to something, you can see it. Huckleberry, how are you? We just decided to get on here at everybody's lunch break. Or some people's lunch break. It's about lunch here. We don't get a lunch break around here. I done got my nose running somehow. Sorry, I'm sniffling. And I cut the fan over here behind me off because it'd be roaring, blowing in. But I may have to cut that thing back on in a minute. All right, we pretty well got a knife shaped out just that quick, y'all. So, let me move y'all right down here and possibly raise you up. I can put all of this stuff back under here. I can't handle my junk everywhere. I have to get it back where it goes when I get through with it. I'm one of them people. I don't know why my nose has started running. It hadn't been running all day. So there's some glue up in the end of that. Got it clean as a whistle. People up and down the driveway. So I reckon I need to, let me put my finer belt back on. So that you know what I'm doing, I went over this with a fine belt. I'm trying to get in a light where you can see, but you can see it shows up them little grooves in there. So as I went over it with a really smooth belt, it showed me where I need to touch up to make that handle smooth. So then I went back to a little bit rougher belt. I'll bring y'all over here where you can see for a minute. It may be loud, and I don't know how loud this is on camera, but it is what it is. So I get on the back of this so I got that slack. Because I am right now just trying to speedily smooth this up. And I'm trying to even up the ends symmetrical on either side so that it looks appealing to me. I think that is about it. Now I'm going to go back over it with this smoother belt, and I'll be done with that part. I think. Not always. Good enough for me for now. Let me see if I can check up on Crystal. How are you? Samuel Pruitt. We just working on Caleb knife. Nancy, how are you? Heart of Pine. How are you, Alicia? Eddie Alexander. How are you? Lynn 45. Or I can't. It looks like Lynn. I can't see good. Thank you. That's funny, too. It's not a problem. Yeah. I don't know why. I guess this dust got in it, started aggravating it. About time to go buy another case of water is what it is. I'm using my little set power cooler refrigerator. I got it plugged up over here. I got it packed full of water, or had it packed full of water. And back this up just a little bit. I'm gonna show y'all one of my secrets with these woods, with some of the woods. Some of this wood is hard and it takes a while to get oil. I like this boiled linseed oil, and I usually cut it with turpentine to thin it. Still, it's very sticky sometimes and takes it a while to soak into that wood. Show y'all a secret. It's just oil. It's thin and it will soak down into that. And so when I get it to this point, see, and I got to do one more thing while I'm at it. I'll show y'all this. This is my attempt at how I go about, and I know I'm probably making y'all a mite seasick, but you'll be all right. You'll be prepared. If you ever decide to go deep sea fishing, you'll already have a leg up on them. So, with that, get y'all back over here. I can do a little bit of hand sharpening. And I use this, I bought this on Amazon. It's a El Cheapo, but for the first, run it down, try to knock the burrs off from where that belt, that is a wore out, I think it's 400 grit. No. A wore out 600 grit belt. And when they wore out, I keep them because they're ideal for smoothing and sharpening, and instead of having to buy 800 grit, you know, I mean, we use a wore out 6. I've got some 400s that are wore out over there. I think they probably are about 1,000 grit now. I don't usually go that far along into stuff, but to knock that burr stuff off, and just like that, I bet you it'll take hair off. Absolutely. It ain't gonna show that, is it? No, of course not, it ain't. But anyway. So for what I do right there, I'm gonna let this oil just clamp that blade right there with the handle sticking out. And I'm done with that for a little bit till it decides to finish drying. I need to be grinding on some other. I cut that ligament and left it just laying out here. And look how dark that grain is popping out in there just from laying over here aging. So it was a bright brown color to begin with. And now it has got some really dark lines in it. See what it looks like with some oil on it. It is a very hard wood. It'll take it a while to soak up any oil, but you can see now, that is a pretty wood. I may wind up putting a piece on this is the only block of it that I've got, so I don't know. I've been hesitant to put it on a knife yet. I have got a Jonah cart cut out and ground, and I ground the angle a little higher. It is the thick bladed one. It is, you can tell it is, I was gonna say you can tell. I don't know if you can tell or not. Anyway, on there, that shiny makes that look just as thick, but it is not. One is a 3/32, the other one, this is 1/8. But I ground it higher than I ground my personal Jonah knife. you can see how high up the grind stops. Well, you can see this one comes up a good bit higher. And I did that because you can get that knife a lot sharper that way. The more angle it's got on it, the higher these grinds. And if you get in the knife making world, you'll find out they say all them boys from Mississippi, I reckon I'm the only one that don't. They grind that grind all the way up nearly to the spine of their knife. They like the grind to come way up, and it makes a hair sharpening knife, but it's not good when you go to cutting into wood, chopping and stuff like that. And like this morning, I had this knife out, literally chopping limbs. I'm walking through the woods out there. I was checking bait traps, and I tell you what happened. I don't like them limbs hitting the windshield on my buggy, because once it's scratched up, you got to buy a new one. So I took and chopped with it. So this one actually has two different grinds down here, and this top one is about like what this one is. So this, I'm going before, and everybody keeps asking me what these knives are going to cost. I don't know yet, because right now, this I want OD green handles with orange liners. Is probably the only way these knives come, because I like that look, and I want them to all be the same. That's just gonna be my survival knife line. But micarta is hard to get. Everybody wants OD green, I assume. So why is it hard to get? I don't know. But that color is out of stock everywhere I look. And when I found it somewhere, well, it cost me over $20 just to put that set of scales on there. I'm like, I don't want to do that. So I'm thinking about learning to make my own micarta. Simply buying resin and canvas and dyeing the canvas the color you want it. So every batch you dye, each handles could probably vary a little in color. So I don't think it would be that hard to pull off. But anyway, I like this knife. The only thing is it is a little bit long for wanting to carry every day. But I don't know if I hadn't really showed it, talked about it a lot. But I did put a loop back there, and just as I suspected, these ferrocerium rods, you're going to have to be really careful or you'll lose it out of there, because that thing gets loose, and I knew it would. So it's flopping in there now. So gravity's always holding. So I may have to take this off where I can show all this. On the back, I sewed a thin piece of leather square where I could put one of these diamond, and all that is one of these that I wore out and broke the handles off of, and it's just this flat part. I think you can order something similar to that, and I may do that. So in other words, whenever I start making these knives, most all of these sheaves will be the same, provided after I tote this in a while I like and think everything's well, because the whole purpose of a survival knife is for it to have multi-functions, to do more than just cut, which that's all a knife's job is to cut. But if it comes with a ferro rod, if it comes with a sharpener where you can keep the blade sharpened and honed and all of that stuff, that is part of the purpose. So then you can skin, you can do multiple things with it. It's got a saw on the back. It just makes it multi-function, whether it's the ultimate knife or not. I mean, everybody has their own preference and what they like. So with this knife here, I am contemplating, it has already been heat treated, everything is ready to go on it. I have got some, I think this is mahogany right here, that I could go ahead and put on there. Or I could cut, and I don't even remember how you say this, lignum vitae, something like that. So I am thinking about trying to put, but this is not cut very, the block was not square when I cut it. So this is cut crooked, like it's thinner on this corner. So for me to split it in half and make scales, I don't know. Three corners of it is good, but this corner is very thin. I don't know if y'all can tell that. See, the other three corners is all thick, and then this corner over here is thinner than the rest of them. So I don't know that I even want to use it for right now. I may can run it through a planer or something and shave it down, but that stuff's hard. So I've already got these ready to go. Thinking about drilling them out and just running with this on this knife. I need to be getting it put together. But I may go over here and start working on sheaths because I have another Caleb with the micarta handles just like mine, because I made me one and I have toted it a good bit and I like it. So I made another one. This one, the only difference, the handle is a little bit fatter, but it has orange liners in it. So when I get that made and that all done, I'm gonna put it on the Etsy store, I think. So I need to go work. All I got to do with this one is make a sheath. So I need to go be working on that. Let's go over here. See if I can find a way to get y'all set up over here. Over here. We went and dug through some thrift stuff. And this was a Native American lady, I guess, that had some of this stuff. Look at these. So what is in here is this is all beads. So I have got several different colors of these beads, and these pink, you can tell, like this one has got some pink in it. So all they done is they started wrapping them beads around. This was actually a shoestring. See, it's got the plastic on the end. And they was making decorations for something. And this was in like a storage building that sold. And so they had, you could tell they had practiced patterns to see what colors. I thought that was very cool because it showed me how they done that, and see there's several different colors of beads, real small beads. But I don't have the string that they was using, but I bet you the string that I have would work. So at some point I may want to experiment with some of that stuff. So I brought this all out here and set it down, and that is why that is there. I have got to find a place up here to put all of that. That drawer. You have to be, it's ticky the way it wants to be handled. Roll this up. Where can I put it? I've got camera stuff in there. I guess that can go. I've got to find where all of these little tubes can go. I guess for today in there. But I need this. So before It's hot. It's hot. So before I go to making no whole lot, I need to trace out a couple of more. I can get a pencil. Pearls. Not enough to get any more out, so let's take it and I just cut this out with a razor knife. I've seen comments come up. I was somewhat trying to read them, but I can't hardly see afar off with these glasses on. But I can't see up close without them, so I'll try to stop in a minute and answer some questions and stuff, read comments and chit chat talk. For the most part, I wanted to do some of the. I had a lot of people curious about the work process out here on just a general. And when you film a video, you're trying to fit everything into, 30 minutes, 45 minutes. You go an hour doing stuff like this, and people go to whining, boy, they get all bent out of shape. Which it don't really bother me, but it does. I mean, if they ain't gonna watch it, it don't do you no good to film it. I think most people would watch it if they wanted to, but I had a bunch of people curious about what goes on out here on a general basis, general principle, or however you say that. And I wanted to just do some out here working and turn it on, and if they wanted to watch, they could. If they didn't, they'd turn it off. Tune in and watch as you can. A little bit different than the lives I do on Saturday night. And I'm looking forward to Saturday Night Live. I wanted to cook fish again. Alright, so now I have one for another pattern. Oh. So I use my same stuff. I need to go ahead and make a couple because I probably will have another one of these sold and use this piece of leather up. I think I cut that crooked. It looks like down here that is a little bit wavy. I don't like that. So I need to now it'll be straight, won't it? Probably not. I think it amazes people that I pretty well do everything the hard way. But I heard this old boy one time, he said the best way to do things is the way you like to do it. Y'all ever heard that before? And this is the way I like to do stuff. And I have discovered that most knife makers hate doing leather work. I enjoy both of it, really. It can get overwhelming, like have too much of it to do, I guess. Not overwhelming, that ain't really the right word. You got a lot to do. It would be nice if you just made the knife and sold it and you was done with it. You know, it's just more work. But I can't fathom people that make knives and sell them without a sheath. I mean, and there's a lot of knife makers that do. They'll sell you knives, and when they get done making a knife, they done. I'm like, well, what am I gonna do? Walk around with it in my hand? You know, that don't make good sense to me. I mean, if they get away with doing it, I ain't mad at them for doing it. I lost my pencil. Did y'all see that? Honey, it was the last place I looked. But I see these guys, they make it, and some of them make some beautiful knives. But they ain't gonna make you a sheath to go with it. Oh, I didn't mark it back. It ain't crucial. Oh. As long as I got these close, what I do is once I put them together, I go to the belt sander and cut everything. Just cut that. Doggone it. I cut the edge of it right there. It'll come out though. I'll sand that out of it. And I get a bunch of scraps over here, so. Oh yeah. So once you put all that together, that'll probably work. I'm just gonna put one of them together for a moment. So, watch this. This is the fun part. This is the part I always worry about, because it don't take but one wrong lick and you got a mess. My buddy Joey at M4 Leatherworks made me this hammer, and it has my logo on it. So I get it by hand lined up like I like it, and then you gotta whack it. And you gotta whack it without it bouncing and moving. Otherwise it'll double stamp it. So just like that, now we have the Spirit of the Outdoors logo in it. That is Frosty. That is Frosty. All right. I should have went ahead and been making 2 of these so I could sell this knife. Somebody's gonna want that knife. Oh, let's see. Get all the components cut here. So mark that. Work this into a, see, has a memory to it. And then I can put it like I want it. And I just get it pretty well close. Run it out to my mark. I can see my mark. I put that on there and then lay it down. That one's good. I don't think I have ever completely filmed making a sheath. I have found bits and pieces of it. And it really ain't, for me anyway, it ain't that hard. Some folks would beg to differ. And if you don't use this black, I ain't a fan of gloves at all. I mean, I just don't like wearing gloves. Some things you have to, like when I'm fooling with the forge, I put one on. When I'm over there fooling with hot metal, I put one on, but and that one I have done pulled off, turned inside out, so come on now. But if you don't put one of these gloves on when you do this, you'll have brown fingers. That's just all there is to it. You'll come away with brown fingers. You look like, you know, I don't know. It'd be all brown on the tips. So this is how I do this, y'all. I can't handle that stool. I like to be standing up when I do all of this. I don't even fool with them. All right. I've got a big bottle of this stuff, but I learned real fast you don't use the big bottle over here. And I don't want that completely dyed. I want it to look, I want the blemishes to show. I mean, that is just my style, like that. That is it. So then I've got a mark where, well, that wadded up on me. That ain't gonna work. We're gonna have to do it again. And I try to let some of it out because I don't want it real dark. So see that is stamped beforehand. Now you can see that logo. Very nice. That's all there is to that. So what I do is I pour out of my big bottle into this little container and use that so if I knock it over and make a brown spot like this is, which some of that is just from doing what I was just doing, but I poured it out one good time. And it'll make a mess for you. Trust me when I say it will make a mess. And then you'll really have brown fingers. But at least if you knock that little bottle over, you don't waste all your stuff. So now, time for glue, and Barge's glue is where it's at. I've used several different contact cement. I got a dirt dauber. He's wanting to get in that phone. That's what you was hearing. But anyway, I have used several different contact cements, and I'm impatient, and I don't always let it get tacky on both sides. So I've got a mark over there where I marked it earlier, so I know where my welts are going to stop. So those of you that didn't know, this is called a welt, goes in there. But this Barge's glue is the way to go. So I'm going to show you what I do here. And when I get this put together, we're going to go look at the goldfish pond. So if y'all, any of you want to see the goldfish pond, we're going to walk up there and look at it here shortly. And we'll close this end of this live up there. So then I take and I brush down here. And then take that one. So what I'm doing is initially is putting glue on both sides of what I'm gluing together. And it don't take it long. Let it start drying. See, it's already sticky right there. That and sticky already. I started my tip down there because those have to meet up perfect. This up here can run wild. I can trim it if it's too long. Usually I come out, after you've done it a while, you get where you come out pretty close. You don't have to always trim them. Every now and then I do, and I don't worry about it if I have to. It's okay. But experience is the best teacher. Just do things. If you mess it up, it don't matter. You can do it again. You got some more leather. You have plenty of stuff to work with. Because the education, a lot of people think, well, I don't want to learn because I'll mess up a piece of something. Well, if you got to pay somebody to teach you, that's more expensive than trial and error. You know, buy some stuff, try it. If you decide, hey, I don't like fooling with this don't work for me, you know, well, then quit. I'm not scared to try anything. If I see something can I make that? Well, the only way I can learn to make it is if I just start doing it. Just go at it. And if it don't come out like I like it, well, what's the worst thing, you know? Throw it in the garbage and say, hey, I tried. It was an expensive lesson, but most of this is a cheap lesson. And the first time you do it ain't gonna be the best. The first sheath I made was terrible, but I made a sheath for the very first knife I ever made. Now why did I stick that back down in there? And I can't stand to get that glue all over the top of my can. You see how some folks, you see their shop and stuff's just a mess stuck everywhere. I can't, not him. I can't deal with that. When we started doing pottery, I was watching some people make pottery, and they was on that pottery wheel, and they'd go live like I'm doing right now on Facebook generally, and you could sit there and watch them make pottery. And this one old boy, he had a pottery wheel, and man, they was mud slung all over the walls. It was all over the table. It was all over him. I was like, I can't watch this. This gives me anxiety. Man, I can't look at this. This is not relaxing. I'm wanting to wipe and clean and pick up and take a water hose to him is what I really looked like needed to happen. I turned that off. Probably didn't bother a lot of folks because there's a bunch of folks watching him, and he was good at making the pottery, but I couldn't look at it. Oh, Lord. My phone is steadily getting messages popping up there and stuff. I don't know what all is going on. So once I get to right here, and I need to take my coffee cup, what was in there? I had goldenrod tea in there the other day. That's in my way is what it was. So with these shoes, I take a piece of metal, slide it over here, put it right there. I lay that metal on top of it where it covers it good. I got that is a heavy chunk of little metal. It's got a divot in there, but it don't go all the way through. But anyway, don't matter. Set that right there on there and let it hold it down. And then shortly, in about 30 minutes, that'll be cured. It'll peel the leather apart when you go to tearing it apart. You can just about make a sheath and not have to stitch nothing. I just don't trust it. I like some string in my insurance purposes. Know what I mean, Vernon? I probably need to go ahead and put another one together is what I ought to do while I am here. Y'all want to put another one together or stop with that one? Somebody will answer here shortly. I can't see them comments from way over yonder. JL327 asked Unc about the Green River. I saw that knife. That is a good looking knife, Unc. I'm assuming Uncle Sasquatch is on here. Mike Culpepper, Jeff Claudel, David Russian, Crystal. Where is Roscoe? Uncle Sasquatch. Man, I am tickled to see all of y'all on here. Modern Outdoors, Josh Warren. Needs a piece of rawhide. I'll have to look. I've got some rawhide somewhere. I'll have to look. I know I rolled it up and put it in one of these boxes somewhere. Doug Lehman in Orlando, Florida. Down, well, he ain't all the way down there, but when I think about Florida, me and Brody like that song on Gone Fishing, down in the Everglades. Uncle Sasquatch, we're going to have to come help you figure out how to film you working on them knives, where you can show you how to edit all of that together. I'd like to see him working on them knives. They look good. You're doing a good job, Uncle Sasquatch. It puzzles me how some people, when they're in the business of doing anything, they dislike everybody else that does it. Like that's their competition, and and I've never felt that way. I know when I was metal roofing, I knew some people that as they metal roofed, they didn't like nobody else that did metal roofing. They was like, "You taking my business? Are you doing all you want to do?" For me right now, I am literally making as many knives as I can make and sell as I want to make, which I ain't wanting to get rich. I just want to pay my bills. I'll spend the remainder of that time I could be making money fishing if all possible. So I don't know where, here's old Roscoe. Somebody asked where Roscoe was. I'm going to show you. Give me just a second. I'm going to take it out of the trap. Look right under there. There's your buddy, Uncle Sasquatch. He has got a bed under the table. That is where Roscoe be staying. Me and him went and checked them bait traps earlier. Let me clamp this back in this. Collins, Mississippi. So he is laid up under there. I think I'm going to go ahead. Nobody answered, but I think I'm going to go ahead while I'm at it and put another one of these together because it might as well happen. I might as well endure it while I'm during stuff. Let me whop it right quick. And then I'll get back to what I was telling y'all. I'm finna do it bottom upwards. I was finna do it bottom upwards. Oh! And I have to put my stuff up as I go. It just drives me mental to not do it. All right, there. We're gonna put these. Use that. Keep that up there for a pattern. When I was a kid, we would go to town, my mama and my sister, and I hated to go look at patterns. My mama used to sew, and she would make a lot of my sister's dresses. And we thought it was the greatest thing. We didn't know that meant we was poor or stingy or frugal, I guess is the word. And my daddy worked offshore. It wasn't like we was just, suppose we couldn't afford nothing. It was just, that was a more practical way of doing things. My sister loved it because she could pick out any material she wanted and pick out a pattern that she liked, and they'd make a dress. Well, I'd get stuck over at Walmart with nothing to do. Might get a toy, My mama didn't buy me a toy every time I went to town. Brody gets one every time he goes. He's got way too many. But anyway, I'd talk about it. They was picking at me here not long ago because I didn't like to stand in the patterns. I'd leave and go to toys, something. Anyway, now I have knife patterns. So that's why when I say pattern, I'm saying patterns. It's just me being funny to myself. It probably ain't funny to nobody else. But if it makes me chuckle, I'll say it. Humor yourself. I mean, by all means. I got to pour this out before I knock it over on this table. Actually, that tea's still there. I could warm it up and drink some of it. Might do that, I might. All right, Let's see how many of these we got left. That's long enough to do one of them. I hate to use them long ones that I could do the Jonah knife out of. I have another one long enough. I do. All right, we in good shape now. Whoa, I didn't, come in. I think I bumped him with my foot. I didn't mean to. He done come out from under that table. What? Is your collar loose? I had to loosen that collar up a while ago. We was on the buggy. I looked over there and it looked like it was strangling him to me. It was making me cough. Well, he went back under there and got on his bed. I don't know if I whopped him or not. I may have. I think I'm going to start from up there. But anyway, as I was saying a while ago about the competition knives, it don't bother me to support other knife makers. It ain't like, well, you know, I got a monopoly on this. And I really don't even think I'm that great at it. I'm still learning. I got a lot I could learn from some other folks. I enjoy doing it, though, and I think that is the important thing. Find something that you like doing in these glasses. I don't know if they're fogging up or if they're filthy. That's what my mama would say is filthy. I think they're filthy. But anyway, find something for a hobby that you enjoy, that just makes you happy to do it, whether anybody buys it or not. And then if you can figure out how to sell it, then you on top of the world. You ain't gonna get rich doing nothing. It's about getting up in the morning and drinking your coffee sitting on the porch and knowing I'm fixing to go do something that I enjoy doing. That's what it's about, y'all. When you figure out how to do that, you got it made. Because money won't solve all your problems. Ain't gonna, not near a bit, ain't gonna do it. All right, let's go through this same process again. I just like to darken that up a little bit, and then we can go in here. I like it to be a little splotchy. I don't like it to be an even, solid coat. I know a lot of them folks, they'll just about soak it in something, but I don't want it to be even. I like blemishes. And I always buy the economy veg tan leather for the simple fact that it'll have some blemishes and brands. And now, if it's got a bad, something really bad in there, I don't keep it, but the hide is, I don't know how to, the correct word, but it don't take the dye evenly because it'll have imperfections in it. That's the word I was meant, imperfections. So, but in just that little bit of time, that's all there is to this for me. Now, why did I put that up? I got to glue another side on there. That ain't quite dry. Let it dry a little bit. I don't know why I screwed the lid back down on there. Keith, how are you? I got plenty of rain I will share with anybody that wants it. It's really hindered my fishing. I mean, I sat down last night, me and Brody did, and watched old Richard Jean catch him gar. Me and Brody were both about fighting mad because he made it look real easy, as always. Y'all know Richard Jean, he can make something look easy, catching a fish. Me and Brody ain't figured that gar fishing out, but I got another something I'm gonna try. I got some baits that I can't think of his name, sent me to catfish, and I never could get a chance. The river has stayed out of whack for catfishing, so I hadn't caught any catfish with them. But they're in a little old gauze looking pouch thing, and they got a shad flavor. And I said, you know, I bet them gar teeth would hang up in that. And my phone's telling me that the battery is low like Shorty. Y'all know about Shorty? She got low. But anyway, I thought I would try them on. And I went through last night, y'all. I was wanting to fish. Got out there and played with my fishing poles. I got all them old Abu Garcia 5000s. I found a tube of grease. It's in like a plunger little thing. And there's some little old white grease. And I took that stuff and I put it in them, and man, it smoothed them reels out tremendously. I had almost threatened putting axle grease in them, but I knew I didn't have them oiled and greased properly, is why I was having difficulty with them. But I went through several reels last night, all of my bait casters, and got them all working order. So really, I can take about every one I got now and comfortably go fish with it. Before, I was like, I ain't taking that and it makes a big racket, and I ain't taking this and it does this. So now I got them where they ain't too bad. All right, I think I'm gonna push that up like that. I gotta find another one of these. I'll tell you what, probably gonna put that on that one. This one probably. I'm gonna let it dry just a little more though before I go to work on it. So now I got them stacked like that. Know what I mean, burn? So, we got this part about done. Nose, quit running. It's gotta be this humidity. And I keep my little, I don't like the glue to get on there. I can deal with the dye getting on here, but I try to keep that glue off of it. So, that is what is left now. That and all these scraps over here out of the 2 whole sides I bought right after Thanksgiving. I need to oil this knife again. So y'all, Justin sent me a link to this creek wax. Rubidoux Creek Outdoors is knife wax. And I need to post it in a video. I have sent it. Several people have asked me about it, and I have shared it with them personally in messages and whatnot, but I need to put that link he just sent me the other day in a video. But I put it on that micarta. I don't know, it gets really, really light colored. But I think I have already sharpened. Yeah, that knife's sharp. Oh yeah. Hair moving. That is a separating tool, is what that is. It'll separate your hair from your arm. Good water. I knew it was gonna get warm out here in this knife shop before summer was over. I knew it was gonna happen. Roscoe said, I believe, look at him. Y'all see where he's at now. He moves from spot to spot. He ain't gonna stay in the same place long. He's really took a liking to that chair, and y'all notice we throwed us a rug down out there. Mink oil, I've got prime neat's foot oil over here. I use a lot on my leather. It is what I do the initial, when I'm first finished with it, I soak it down with neat's foot oil. And then after it dries, I go over with this wax here. And I have used several different things. I've got several cans of that shoe polish leather conditioner, saddle soap, whatever you call it. And I've had several people give me some of that, different types of wax and waterproofings. And I'll be honest with y'all, on some of that stuff, I hadn't seen a huge difference in it. I don't like wax on leather to be real thick and stiff. Like, the reason is it'll dry and leave a white film on there. So I want it thin enough that it'll soak into that leather. So, am I happy with the new survival knife design? So far, I'm very happy with it. I want to continue to keep toting it and testing it. I want to take it on a camping trip or two. But before I start offering them, I've had several people ask about pricing and getting one and all, and I hadn't pushed selling them at all yet. But the reason is the handle. Right now, that green, I want the OD green micarta with the fluorescent orange liners in there. I reckon I'm gonna have to start making my own micarta, because ordering it, I'm still waiting on the first. I ordered a block of it from that Pops was sold out. They didn't have it. I went to American Knife Supply. They said, oh yeah, here, order what you want. So I ordered a whole sheet of it, and then I ordered some of them Hermes belts from them. Well, they sent the belts. Well, they've curled all up on the wall over there. I don't like them at all. But then they decided in the box I got had a weigh your knife scales you wanted on back order. So I'm waiting on them. So then I went to Gents, and they had them, and I ordered them from them, and they sent them right on. I didn't like the fact that they used FedEx to send it. I don't like FedEx. But I did get them, so this time they didn't mess up. So maybe they're getting better. But the one knife scale was like $20. And I was going to order like a block of it because the price but it was about the same price. I mean, you wasn't going to get no more knife handles out of it. So, looking for a fishing knife. There's some old ones on eBay, but I think the new Queens, that's the China-made ones, is gone. And Smoky Mountain Knife Works is part owner of that company now. They're American-made. They're branded American-made, and they've made all of their regular knives except the fishing knife. They'll be about $70, $60, $70, it looks like, if they do make one. Smoky Mountain Knife Works is the only ones that's got them. And I thought about emailing them and said, hey, are y'all going to have this company make these fish knives? Because this is what we like. This is what I like. I don't know if I got one. Do I have one in my pocket today? Let's see. What all is in that pocket? Oh, I got a fish bait in my pocket. There's a cork in my pocket with a stick in the end, not the plastic thing. Look at all our items out over here. Rollers, number 72 tarred bank line. And there's a queen bone fish knife. So I got 2 before they quit selling, run out on eBay. But now I talked about them. I talked them up good, so I reckon some of y'all bought all of them. But anyway, yeah, I got one of them. That's what stays in my pocket. That needs to go in my tackle stuff in here. I've been in there organizing tackle. I've got all of my tackle. Well, Michelle got out of the pottery shop, so I'm getting my building back over here. And it's going to be, I don't know what all I'm going to do in there over the winter. I'm probably going to move some of my work in there, possibly. But anyway, I'm talking about this survival knife. I'm going to keep playing with it and testing it, and I want to use it. I want to know, really, I would like to skin something with it, because if it's terrible at skinning, I'm still not deciding, do I want to shorten it a little bit. But now when you start using it to chop with, like today there was limbs hanging in the road when I went down there to check a bait trap at that little pond where I used to have the TP. So I walked up through there and chopped them limbs that was hanging out in the road. I didn't want to scratch my windshield up. And one slice and right through them it went. So it has done everything I have asked it to do. And this stuff right here, this is fat wood. And this is why I wanted this back here different grind. And I think I talked about this the other day. But see, it'll just, that's why. And see, you can make just shavings. And that'll do fine work. And I hadn't really tried the feather stick with it, but I know it will. If this wasn't plastic, I'd use a ferro rod. Because I got the ferro rod on here. Oh, it slung in way over there. So anyway, it throws, and this old ferro rod is about wore out. It's been wet and then all kind of stuff. I've towed it a lot and sweated on it. But now I haven't used the front part for a whole lot of anything. I did cut that plastic with it, and it just right through that plastic. These are the little old plastic, or not plastic, they're paper. They're like wax paper. But I done dulled it. It ain't gonna cut them no more. It needs sharpening again. Well, we just so happen to have a sharpener right here. See how I put that on a string? So this is the whole reason. If you use a knife, it's gonna get dull. And if you make one hard enough, it don't get dull, then if you ever do dull it, you can't get it back sharp. So there's a trade-off there. The next thing is you take the sheath itself. I can't on that one, it's turned around too far. So I ain't got my leather belt on. I know what I'll do. Now, oh, see, just that quick. Look at there. It just. So it didn't take it nothing to go back to a razor I'm happy with it. I'm happy with the knife. I just want to, I want to figure out the micarta and figure out what I'm going to do about making it. I'm probably going to have to order. But here's the deal. I've got several knives that I've got to get made as far as the Jonah knives. I don't have a pile of orders right now. I'm getting down, but I hadn't pushed for people to, like, I hadn't got on and advertised and tried to get attention and been like, hey, I need orders or anything like that. Because I get a few along, and I'm steadily getting orders, steadily having people ask about knives, but I'm trying to get through with what I have got priced at what they're going to price that are not heat treated. And then at some point here in the near future, every knife will be heat treated. The prices will reflect that, but everything will be heat treated. So once I do that, then I'll be able to run wide open, because with me going into fooling with different metals, and I have a lot of times I got people bringing me and giving me saw blades. Well, those saw blades, some of them are not as hard as the ones that I've been used to using all this time. I trust them. They've been consistent. These concrete saw blades are iffy because you don't know what brand. There's some of them that are hard enough that you don't have no problem with them. They hold an edge. Some of them are not as hard as others. So for my peace of mind, I'd rather just heat treat them, because I can heat treat them and make them just jam up. And that is what those other Caleb knives that you saw me shaping earlier today are. They're heat treated masonry blades, and they'll hold up and do anything that everything else will do. So we've been going for, Lord, 89 minutes. I don't know how, I'd have to count off. We've been about an hour and a half though. Let's walk up here, show y'all the goldfish pond, and show y'all what I have done. I'm gonna let this, hang on, let me let this down. All right. And I don't know if it's gonna lose service or what. So far the internet has held up, but now I don't know if it's gonna transfer over to something else or not. I have acquired my parking spot under the carport back since my daughter lives somewhere else now. Find a little perch. Y'all look at this. Look in that rocking chair right there. You see that? He's from chair to chair. Got the magic bike up here charging up. I finally run it down to about 30-something%. So look at here, y'all. She has done brought Brody's chair out here. She's got a bench. I was gonna set that down, but I got it let down to where we got a wrought iron bench. It's not raw, it's some kind of metal that's over at the cabin my mama gave to Michelle to put out here. So we're gonna put that bench right over there. And with these two plants, I gotta dig a hole and plant them. But there is a couple of fish in there. I don't see them. Oh, I do see one. I see two of them. Where's the third one? Uh-oh. The cat done found it and got him. Oh, there he is. So right now there's a goldfish and two catfish in there. One catfish is about this long and the other one's about that long. So what I did, I rescued that old igloo metal water thing. It was at an old house place in the woods, and it bottom's rusted completely out, but the lid was there and it had the spigot in it. Well, I had to knock the spigot on out yesterday. It was rushed. I mean, they wouldn't know saving it. So what I did is I got me a piece of copper pipe and stuck in there, and that's why it ain't straight. I could probably fabricate me something and do a little better job, but I was in a hurry. And we just hooked that rubber hose and stuck it in that copper pipe. And it's keeping that water aerated. But now we've got another filter deal over here we're gonna put in it. So come here and tell them about your gold fishing pond.
You mean my catfish pond?
Yeah, her catfish pond. Y'all knew that was gonna happen, didn't you?
I got flour all over me. I've been making bread. Y'all like it? I had to beg for it.
I did not want to spend my whole yesterday digging and doing all this, and it wasn't that bad. It really wasn't.
I still got to plant these two, but my hole digger's been busy. Now I'm picking. I can dig a hole. I just got to dig through that plastic.
We're fixing to have to go to town and get. It keeps telling me my battery's gonna die. If it cuts off on me, I didn't get mad and quit y'all. The battery give up on us, and I ain't going to Huntsville. I'll plug it up whenever we head to town. But we got to go get some gas for the buggy, and where we can ride back here and look around and dig some stuff up. Instead of going and buying everything, I mean, we did buy a few things, but like I've got violets right there. That is violets, edible plants out of the backyard. This green is a vine. It runs, and my mama's got some down there, and it'll spread and spread. So we put plastic down under everything. Uh, we dug it with a shovel. And she helped me dig it now. Me and her both got out here and dug. And
Where's the catfish at?
he's right up on this side. I found him, the big one. See him laying right there against it? I thought he was gone too. But there's some kind of little cricket that's floating under the fountain up against the front, and they was eating them. You see them swimming in there?
Yeah.
So they found a food source already. And we did. I put some goldfish feed, the flakes that you put in a tank. I sprinkled a few of them that I had. I've been putting them a few along in that barrel. The two catfish I had got out of the bait trap and had them in my barrel down there that I keep bait in. And so I went down there and the goldfish, a man at Tom Bigby that was fishing up there when we had the camper up there gave two of them to Brody. Now I couldn't find but one, but I kept dipping crawfish and stuff up. So I've got to get all that bait out and take it to Tom Bigby and use it here pretty quick. I'm watching the weather. I was gonna go yesterday, but they had storms gonna roll in late yesterday evening, so I omitted going up there then. And so right now, with the way everything's looking, I'm probably gonna have to go back to where we were running limb hooks down here in the swamp in the boat the last time and put my limb hooks back out, because with the rain, it's gonna stay up level with the banks for another week. So if I get to do any fishing, that's all it's gonna be to do. I may take the kayak and go up to my neighbor's pond and bass fish one day. I love to bass fish. I don't care nothing about eating them. So I like to fish. But anyway, we took a day off yesterday and we knocked all this out, got it all done, and it wasn't bad. We still got some cleaning up, and this bed swing that we got right here, I am probably fixing to take it down. We have about decided that we're tired of it. And we've got to put some new blinds in my daughter's room. The cat or dog, well, I think Roxanne. There's a window seat in that bedroom window, and a dog got up there and tore them blinds all to shreds. But we're going to take that bed swing down, and I want to put a regular swing up. And we're wanting to go up to the Amish country and get some. I think you can go up in Tennessee, and they got them there. But there's some in North Mississippi, I think.
Yep, I don't know what all they.
But we're looking for a swing, and I want one of those that's made out of the round looking poles. I could probably build one, but it just looked better if we went and bought one at a time. I don't have the time to build one right now. If I did, it'd greatly cut into my fishing. So anyway, y'all, that is the goldfish pond. We're gonna add some lights to it, some submergible lights. And there's another filter over there we're gonna put a little sprinkler. I don't know what another fountain or something in there, but just to run the filter through it. I don't think I can run the filter into this. I can. We'll see when I get to working on it. So I may be able to hook the filter up and put it in that cooler, because the whole bottom's rusted out of that. It's just sitting on a couple of rocks to hold it level. It had set out in the weather. Somebody left it sitting out for too long, and it just got the bottom out of it. So I couldn't stand to see the old thing. I like junk. I couldn't stand to see it just thrown in the dump. Because that's the only one I have personally ever seen. I'm sure there's a bunch of them scattered throughout, but I've never seen none. The furthest back my mind goes is we had the orange ones, and then they changed the way they look, and those orange coolers was good. We used them when I was landscaping. We had one on every truck. And then when I started doing mechanic work, I had a set of hands my daddy cut out of pipe, and that water cooler would fit right down in them hands, and it looked like a pair of hands holding it on my service truck that had the crane and all. And I had an orange cooler I kept ice water in. But now we've all went to bottled water. Nobody has a water cooler hardly anymore. It's for $2 you can buy bottled water, and it's, you know, it's clean to drink. Or well, you think it's clean to drink anyway. So anyway, thank y'all all for joining us today. I was gonna look to see what comments was. Yeah, looks like a bunch of folks has got stuff they gotta do, and I do too. And y'all tired of seeing my finger do that? Look, thank y'all for watching Spirit of the Outdoors live out here. We hadn't made a video. I still don't have any footage to edit. If the weather holds off, I may put the kayak in the pond this evening. I don't know, we will see. And film maybe some bass fishing, because I like the bass fish, and this pond's got some in it. If not, I may go over to my dad-in-law's and do some stuff. I did put a fish feeder, one of my directional feeders that I was feeding deer in. I put it over there on their pond on the pier to feed the brim and the catfish, and we're gonna see what all is in there. Me and Brody really need to go over there and catfish in that pond just to see if there's any in there. And I would like to catch them and put them back in there, but we don't know how many's in there. I put 200 fingerlings in there 3 or 4 or 5 years ago, 2 years in a row. And then they got big. We don't know what happened to them. We don't see them. So anyway, we're gonna check on all that stuff. We'll try to get some fishing done. Thank y'all for watching Spirit of the Outdoors. Remember, the best way to do things is the way you like to do it. We'll see y'all. Y'all have a good one, and we'll be live Saturday night.